So Rory, we're sitting here in a spanking new gym. Congratulations, first of all. Can you just tell us what this is going to mean from your own job's perspective, how much of a game changer this place is?
For me, this is really big. Just in the day-to-day of going out training, coming in, doing a debrief with the guys, it's really quick, it's fluid. We're quite efficient with what we're doing, and we just have everything in one place that we need. So the daily life is a totally different thing for us now, so I'm just really happy with it.
It's really exciting. We've kind of opened our performance HQ. This was something that Rory, my old coach, dreamed up a few years ago, and for it actually to become a reality, that we have a place that we can train, a base. We've got this cool platform where we're able to just straight out onto the water. We've got our gym, our sort of debrief room, and our big workshop and everything all in one place in Dún Laoghaire. It's pretty ideal. And here in the Irish Lights, it's kind of, there's lots of stuff going on around us, so we're not just like isolated on our own. We're still sort of seeing everything else that's going on in the harbour.
Prior to this, we would have trained out of different clubs, and we'd move around. We'd sailed at times down in Skull as well. There's a great sailing centre there, or we'd spend a lot of time overseas. And some of these guys and previous generations of Irish sailors would have had quite a nomadic lifestyle where they spend times going from country to country. And it's very hard to look after the Olympic campaigns then, whereas now we want the guys to always become stronger when they get home, to have the support of their friends on the team, the Institute of Sport, and the coaches in our coaching team as well there. So we're always telling them now they're always going to leave home stronger, so they'll go into battle and do a major championships at a World Europeans. They can come back here and debrief at the HQ here, and then we'll know what to work on for their strengths or weaknesses, so they'll always have that support here for them when they're back home.
During the winter, it's pretty hard to get in proper training from sort of December to the end of February here, because mixture of storms and the cold, it's we can go training, but we can't get the same kind of hours in that we can get abroad. But once it warms up a bit, like now, although I'm saying that as I'm shivering, I've obviously become soft over the winter. It's just a perfect place to train. I've always trained a lot at home, just having sort of being by myself though, so having the whole team here, giving them the opportunity to have a base where we can all sort of learn together, and hopefully I can help the younger guys coming up, or actually more likely they're going to help me than me helping them. But that's kind of the idea behind it, that everyone can kind of collaborate together to get better as a team.
Like, you've got pictures of Annalise with her medal, you can just see it out the window there. You've also got an interesting one when you walk into your meeting room of Annalise's post-it note from 2012. Could you explain that to us?
It says not to fear losing, but to see the opportunity to fight to win. So that was the philosophy that Annalise had before the medal race in Rio. That's what she learned from her London experience. We thought it was important that when we put up images, it wasn't just the success moment and it wasn't just a good photo. We thought it was important that it told a message of how you get to that point. And the one that we had there up on the briefing room, that's of it's of me giving Annalise a hug when she finished the medal race in London. She was crying at that point, and I think I probably was, or I was about to start crying too. Don't know if I'd admit that, but yeah, it was a very upsetting time to come fourth in Olympics and miss a medal by so close. And that's the beauty of sport. You come down to that kind of moment. But that was a big learning experience for Annalise. It was a big learning experience for me and the craft of my coaching. And she did a brilliant debrief with Dara Sheridan from the Institute of Sport after that, and she wrote a post-it in 2012 in the debrief that she would give to herself before the medal race in the Rio Olympics. So I kept a picture of the post-it, and the night before the medal race I brought it out to Annalise and showed it to her, and what was written on it was the philosophy of how she would approach the race. So in London, this was new territory. We didn't have that experience, but for Rio, we used exactly those learnings to be applied to the race in Rio. So that's essentially the philosophy that she had going down to race that morning. She was in a good place, she loved her sport, and she was ready to make sure she took the opportunity to fight to win, and it came good. So
can I just ask, was that post-it note written with the express intention of reading it again before 4 years' time in Rio?
Yeah, there was an intentional debrief, right. And the debriefer, Dara Sheridan, was outstanding with it, and he formatted it and then he presented it to me and Annalise, and we had it ready and we used it through the Rio Olympics to go back into territory that was now charted, and use it to best effect so that you could get the best out of yourself. So it was maybe the same potential in terms of us as persons, but with experience on top of that to deliver.
Like it's an incredibly important thing to do at high level sport, but it's also an incredibly easy thing to say and not actually follow through in, is to actually learn from failure and to actually utilise that for success in the future. And it's something that has clearly in this instance been done to really, really good effect.
Yeah, that's right. It is extremely harder said than done, and that's why it is there, so that the younger sailors can see it. It is something that genuinely took years. The fourth place, say, from London was something that it would have been haunting to remember, say, for Annalise. And the only way to exercise it was to generate the performance. So for her, Rio wouldn't have been scripted as the suitable venue for her. She was considered a heavy weather venue, so it would have been a big story of adaptation and change for her to fit herself for the next upcoming Olympics. So any adaptation, any change comes really, really hard, and she had some hard times in those years, but because she knew what she needed to do and it meant so much, she was able to use all of that in her learning and her experience to deliver on it. Spiritually, for want of a better word, we have a home for ourselves as well. There's somewhere for the guys to go to, so they're already happy to hang out here and spend the time.
So we're obviously sitting here in a weights room. What else have we got?
So right beside us there is the debriefing room. In that unit will go off to Japan as well. The truck can drive up beside and pick it up, and away it goes to Japan and come back here. So that's our mobile HQ. It has a recovery room in it too. So the whole idea is that that's a home from home and it moves around with us. So that unit is for the mind, which is important to your performance. So this unit here is the gym. So this unit is for the body. So everything that the guys need to work on in here, like sailing, hiking, ergometers and weights and med balls, kettlebells, dumbbells, everything that they need to keep their body in shape is here in this unit. And then the next unit here beside us, that is the workshop. So if you're a sailor, you are from the sea and you must have a boat. So they work on their mind, their body and their boat. In the workshop is all their tools, and they can bring the boat in if it's raining and work on it in there, fix it and look after whatever they need. So have everything in one place so that they can keep everything tip top.